Hello, everyone. Welcome to Everything Arsenal. I cannot lie to you about two things. One, if I wasn't doing this, I wouldn't really want to talk about Arsenal for the next 1 month at least. I can't lie to you. And number two, we have 3 Premier League games remaining, but my mind is not really on that. My focus is already on the transfer window. I know we have big games against Liverpool, Newcastle, and then at the end of the season against Southampton. But I don't really care about that, man. I'm really focusing on the transfer window. And I've kind of already checked out of this season. Usually on a Thursday, on a Friday, I'd be watching the Europa League. And then on a Friday, you look at the build-ups, the Premier League previews, and I look at the FPL shows and all that. I haven't watched any of that today, man. Like, I've completely checked out of this season. Looking forward to next season. And we need to talk about a big transfer window. I know we've had a lot of big transfer windows over the years, but I don't think there's any that is going to be bigger than this. This is huge, whether it's in terms of players signing new contracts, whether it's in terms of players who are going to be sold. A couple of surprises might be happening this transfer window. Incomings, again, we cannot mess up another transfer window. So it's a huge one. It's a completely huge one. And this time there's no Euros and there's no World Cup during the off season. We have 3 months to get the transfer window right before next season. So let's start with the big one, and that is on Saliba. This is from David Ornstein, who's reported it today. Arsenal have opened talks of a new contract for William Saliba. No offer yet, but expected soon as dialogue ramps up between Andrea Berta and 24-year-old's camp. France defender happy at Arsenal, but will want terms reflecting status amid Real Madrid pursuit. So as I said in the last video, I don't expect William Saliba to leave us of this transfer window. Now, next transfer window, depending on how next season goes, you never know. Your players are not going to stay at your club forever. Players like Saliba, Odegaard, Gabriel, Timber, these players are not going to stay at Arsenal forever. So it depends on how we are doing. It depends on, how they feel about the project that is continuing at Arsenal. If we win 2 trophies next season, maybe it changes a lot of people's minds and they decide to sign 5-year contracts at Arsenal. But if you have another poor season next year, you never know. So next season, I expect him to be here despite Real Madrid wanting him. But after next year, he'll have only 1 year remaining on his contract. His contract is expiring in 2027 unless we give him the new contract, as David Ornstein has said. And if we give him a new contract, let's hope it's going to run up until like 2030 or something. So even if he ends up leaving in the next couple of years, we do get some good money. You can't even ask me right now how much Saliba is worth. I don't know, because I've not considered selling him at all. You have to keep your team. We've messed up badly in terms of the forward line, and not just because we've come close to winning titles and we're not sorted out our forward line, but because our defense and our keeper, they've been very, very good. And I don't want us to just waste the entire, prime and waste an entire generation where we had like 7, 8 good defenders and a strong midfield and didn't have a forward line. We did that a lot over the years. Back in the day, there's a lot of times where we had good strikers like Van Persie, and then we didn't have anyone who replaced Vieira in midfield. There's a lot of times where we had, good defense with Koscielny and Vermaelen, sometimes Mertesacker, and then you look at the forward line, we don't have anyone. That has happened a lot in our club's history, so we don't want that to happen again. So this time around, you need to keep your best players, and we need to convince them that, yes, this transfer window, we're actually going to, make you guys proud as well, make you guys feel like it's worth staying over here. So Saliba, he has to stay. You cannot start selling players like Saliba, not at all. So that's the first piece of news today on William Saliba. Second up, let's go to Mohamed Kudus. Arsenal are showing fresh interest in Mohamed Kudus. TalkSport understands the player has an 85 million release clause in his contract, although it is unlikely Arsenal will be willing to pay that fee. I'm sure 85 million sounds like a lot of money. Now, we did want Mohamed Kudus back in his Ajax days before he joined West Ham, but I think they said something like we didn't have enough money that transfer window or something like that, or we told Ajax to wait, and Mohamed Kudus wanted to move quicker, so he went to West Ham, but we really wanted him during his West Ham days. And I'm imagining if we had got a player like this, how good it would have been, because we started talking about getting someone, to help us in attack with this in terms of backing up Isak on the right side and just getting someone who can play in several positions. And I really do like Kudus' versatility. He can play as a right winger, left winger. I watched him a lot in his Ajax days playing as an attacking midfielder. He can play a lot of different roles. And I'm sure the games that West Ham have beaten us, I think they've beaten us like 3 times over the last 2 years. There's one in the Carabao Cup specifically last season that he destroyed us in that game at the London Stadium. He was really good. So he's a very, very good player. Now, I'm looking for players who have end product, not just I think we also need some flair players who can get the ball and run with it. Like, even if you're to give me someone like a Hudson Odoi right now, I'll take him, because we just don't have anyone who can get the ball and dribble past players and run and make a cross or something. Now, Kudus last season, he played 48 games. He had 18 goals and 10 assists. That is 28 goal returns in 48 matches. That is quite good for his debut season. I think that was the debut season, right? Yeah, last season, his first season. This season, though, he only has 4 goals and 3 assists. Now, those are not good numbers. Like, even players like Jesus in our team have more than that. Those are not good numbers. 4 goals, 3 assists. Now, that could be a lot of different factors. West Ham have not been great this season. I think actually the last time they won a game could be the time they beat us. It's been so long. They might have won one after that. But yeah, he's not been great this season. The team has not been great this season. But his numbers in the previous seasons were great. And I think we do need a player like Kudus. I don't think we just need a winger and a striker. I think we also need an attacking midfielder. This season, I'd be very happy to just get one like defensive signing, and then all the other signings just to be front areas, because we are really, really lacking, man. Like, players play badly, and then you look at the bench, there's no one to come on, now it's a lot. Now it's Martinelli 2 seasons in a row, he hasn't been great. Now it's Odegaard for a full season, he hasn't been great. Now it's Saka, he started getting injuries. Hopefully it's just that one, but he was out for 4 months. We couldn't do anything at all. It's Trossard now. He's past 30 years of age. He's not going to be here forever. He's not been on great form this season. Havertz is injured anyway. Jesus is injured all the way to like December anyway. So even if you are depending on them, like, there's a lot of problems in the team. There's so many problems in the attacking areas, and players like Kudus could help us. But 85 million release clause, that's a lot of money. And we know how difficult it is doing business with West Ham, with the Declan Rice signing. But that's one. Would you guys be interested in getting someone like a Kudus? Let me know. Yokarez next up. This is according to Jay Butt of The Telegraph. Arsenal sporting director Andrea Butt is believed to favor a move for Victor Yokarez. As things stand, it is believed Arsenal are Yokarez's most likely destination should he leave Sporting. I think he will leave Sporting, and I hope he does join Arsenal. This is, I said, for the other positions, winger, you can get whoever you want, whether you're going to get Nico Williams or you're going to get Lokman, whoever else. Attacking midfielder, whether you want to get Vats, whether you want to get Kudus, whether you want to get Eze, I don't care. But forward line, I really, really want Yokarez at Arsenal. I don't care whether you're scoring those 100 goals in Portugal or Saudi Arabia or Australia or Rwanda. I don't care where you're scoring those 100 goals. He needs to be at Arsenal. I wanted him before the start of last season, and I still want him right now. I wanted him before what he did this season, before he scored a hat-trick against Man City, before he played very well against us, despite us winning that game 5-1. He still did very, very well in that match. Yokarez is a striker that I really want. Those goals, those assists, I think this is a player who would do so well for us. So Victor Yokarez, let's see how it goes. And this is a signing that should be done by June. If this is the striker that you want, it should be done by June. So that is according to Jay Butt of The Telegraph. And then let's talk about Cunha. Now, Cunha is the player I wanted in January, but it didn't happen. According to reports, Arsenal are making a last-minute attempt to sign Matheus Cunha. The deal appears difficult as the player is very close to reaching an agreement with Man United. They've already indicated they will trigger the 62.5 million release clause, euros release clause. So I expect him to join Man United, but also making a last-minute soup for him. Now, if you're just to get Cunha right now and don't get any other striker, that would be disastrous. The only way you can get Cunha is if you still get Yokarez and then you add a second one in Cunha. That is the only way. Now, do I see us doing that? I don't think so. But would I mind seeing us doing that? No. I really need forward players now. Now we don't have any excuses anymore. We cannot have games where literally every single game we've gone out this season, all those cup competitions, we've had more shots, we've had more chances. Like Man United and Newcastle at home are good examples. Carabao Cup and the FA Cup. Like, we should have beaten Man United 4-1 in that game, but you couldn't score. We had to go all the way to penalties. We had to score, depend on Gabriel again in that game. Newcastle, we should have had at least 2 goals at home. We didn't get a single one. PSG, you had an expected goals of like 5. We only scored 1. That's a massive problem. It has happened a lot this season. And I think we need like 3-4 forward signings. I'm not even kidding. So Cunha, I'd only be happy with Cunha if he was like the second signing after someone like a Yokarez, but not Cunha as the main signing. I think we need something different up front. Cunha kind of reminds me of a Jesus. He might be better than Jesus, but I want a striker who just wants to stay in the box, head the ball in, get a chance, score. A player who's not a no-nonsense striker, a player who has scored, at least 50 goals in the last 2 seasons. Cunha is not really that striker for me. Players like Yokarez is that striker. A player like Yokarez is that striker. Or is it going to be Isak? According to Miguel Delaney, those within Arsenal say that with the amount of options available, there are no excuses for the club not to sign a striker this summer. Mikel Arteta loves Alexander Isak, but the Gunners will not pay the figure in the region of 150 million. Now, that is the second reason why I prefer Yokarez. The first reason is just I prefer Yokarez because he's very good in terms of both goals and assists, and I've seen him doing it for a couple of seasons now, and he's very explosive, and I want a striker like that. Second one, he's cheaper. Yes, he would cost you like 60 million, and Isak will cost you 150 million. And Yokarez is a release clause, and with Newcastle, you're not going to sign Isak in January. You're going to go back and forth for a little while before you get Isak. So why not just get the easy one? The player who's been banging goals. Because Isak, you're not sure if you're going to get him. I know Arteta might want him. I know majority of the fans might want Isak. But, if you get Isak for 150 million and you get Yokarez for 60, if you get Yokarez for 60, you have a spare 90 million to use somewhere else. And as I've said, we might need 2 strikers. We might need plus a winger. We might need plus an attacking midfielder. So, I don't think you're going to go and spend 500 million in one transfer window, and you've not yet talked about, where the money for Zubimendi coming from. We are going to sign a backup goalkeeper. You're probably going to sign a defender with a few leaving and others injured. It's just a lot of work to do this transfer window. Arsenal's dream target is still understood to be Alexander Isak, but the chances of persuading Newcastle to sell at an affordable price remain slim. Yep, Newcastle insists it's not for sale, and the deal will even be more difficult should they qualify for the Champions League. Yeah, if Newcastle qualify for the Champions League, I don't see a reason why he should leave. They've just won a trophy. Why not go? And if I was him, I'd just stay for one more season if they qualify for the Champions League. So, and I do expect them to qualify for the Champions League. So, no reason for him to leave. It would be difficult to try and get someone like Isak, despite the fans and the manager wanting him. So that's the latest on the striker situation. We need a striker in June, like not July, not August. It needs to happen by June. Our preseason starts almost at the end of July, but I think we'll have a few more fixtures before that. And we're actually going to play Newcastle in preseason. We are going to play Tottenham in preseason. Both of those teams might have a trophy. Like, it's going to be a very long few months, by the way. This month of May is going to be a long one, and we are playing Tottenham in preseason and Newcastle in preseason. They might be parading their trophies there for us to see. It would just be a nightmare. So let's make sure we have Yokarez there to score a couple of goals to boost us ahead of the new season. So we can only look after ourselves, and it's going to be a long one coming up. Next up, the winger position. David Austin says Arsenal's interest in Nico Williams is well documented, and they also like Anthony Gordon. I have no information on Rodrigo. There will be other options. I'm not sure we should expect a quick fix for this position. Striker is the priority. Striker needs to be fast. Winger, I mean, these signings still need to be in June because they need to be, but I don't expect us to sign 6 players in June, but a strike and one more signing needs to be done in June. The reason why we've bought Andrea Bat is to get forward players and also try and get deals done quickly. This thing about Arsenal want Mikel Merino on June 1st and then June 2nd. I also really like June Merino. Who's that? Mikel Merino. June 3rd, Arsenal are really interested in Mikel Merino. And then we end up signing him at the end of July after 2 months. We cannot be doing that. We need quick signings, get players ready. Because there's a lot of people who want Yokarez. There's going to be a lot of people who want Nico Williams, Anthony Gordon. You're not going to just be, by yourself. So you have to make deals quick. Let's see what the difference is this time with Andrea Bata, and after this painful season, let's see what changes. So as I've said, for the winger, I'm okay with anyone, whether it's Nico Williams or whether it's Anthony Gordon. Anthony Gordon, it's kind of like the exact situation, but not really like it 100%, but it's almost the same. I mean, if they qualify for the Champions League, he can stay, but recently hasn't really been playing every day. He's coming from an injury, but they have players like Jacob Murphy and Barnes who've been playing well. So he's not been starting regularly recently since he recovered. So would you want to leave to go to a different team? Does he start for us? I think he actually does. I think in terms of end product, he's been better than what we have recently. So let's see. Next up, let's go to a few players who might leave. Also, we look to offload left back Alexander Zinchenko this summer. This is according to Sami Mokbel. Now, as I said, we need players on the bench next season. We cannot have like 21, 22 players and you can have like 25 or 26. That is crazy because when like 4 or 5 of them get injured like they have this season, Tomiyasu, Havertz, all these guys, you just don't have enough players. And we've overworked so many, but we cannot do that again. Timber has played way too many games this season. He's not supposed to play all those games. Now, I know Ben White has been injured, but you need other options, man. We cannot be playing Havertz even on your 4-0 up against Bolton. We're bringing in Isak and Havertz. We cannot be doing that. So we need players on the bench. So I am a little bit worried about Martinelli selling Zinchenko because who is going to be on the bench next season? But Zinchenko hasn't really been used a lot. Same with someone like a Sterling. There's no way he's going to stay. Even if the fans wanted him to stay, he's not been used at all. So you just know there's no way he's going to be here next season. Someone like a Zinchenko, there's been a few games where I know there's like 3-4 left backs who are ahead of him. So you can't really see him. I like his work in midfield. Whenever he plays in midfield and his quick passes and quick thinking. But 3 seasons later, yeah, and the injuries as well, he might leave. But are we going to get enough money for him? Are you going to get a substantial amount of money? Let's see. This is according to Sami Mokbel. Then Trossard. There is interest from clubs in Saudi Arabia. Leandro Trossard, who was only 1 year left on his contract, 1 year left. His departure would pave the way for a new left winger coming in. So I think Martinelli will stay, but Trossard, it's going towards 60% is going to leave, 40% is going to stay. Do I see us keeping both? The chances are less because he has 1 year remaining on his contract. I can't see him signing a new contract. So unless Arsenal decide to sell him either in January or sell him or let him go for free after next season, which I don't see happening. So Saudi Arabia, if he's going to go, can we get a substantial amount of money? I still do think Trossard is still one of our better finishers in the team. I mean, we are starving, to be honest, in terms of finishers. So we do see him as a very good finisher in our team because we don't really have many of those. But the way he finished last season was great. The way he's finishing this season has been okay. He's been getting a few goals here and there, but again, there's always this debate about when he starts, doesn't play well, when he comes off the bench, he's better. We cannot be unsure about players like this when you're going for the Champions League and Premier League. Lastly, Arsenal are preparing an offer to sign Christian Mosquera from Valencia. The player's agent will meet with Valencia and let them know his wishes. So I haven't done too much analysis on this player, but we are linked to this player. I'll do more analysis on him and then see what happens after that. But yeah, I am expecting a few signings this transfer window. It's a big one. Let me know what you make about all that. Kudus, do you think is worth that money? Which player would you get between Kudus, Eze, Vats, players like that? Which one would you prefer? Even players like Rogers from Aston Villa, which one would you like between that kind of player? Big transfer window coming up, and we have Liverpool this weekend, but who cares really? Let's just keep on beat and run going, I guess, against the bigger teams. Thank you for watching. I'll catch up with you guys on the next one.